Barenpark. This is a puzzle game with a pretty intriguing theme. Players will be building parks/zoos that have bears as their sole guests and attractions. Now, game night, I play with an unusually high number of scientists, probably higher than you have in your group or higher than is advisable, but still. And so, with my players, we spend a fairly large amount of time discussing, well, is that animal in the game really a bear? I think it was reclassified in 1997. Yes, but yet later I read a paper from 2018. It was classified back again, blah, 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 blah. My take is that if it looks like a bear, it smells like a bear, and it looks like it could eat your head, it is a bear. Now, as for the game itself, it is a puzzle game, as I said, so you have a main board there in which you place the tiles that represent the different areas that you will build on your board during the game. You have the green areas that are very common and easy to get, and then you have other areas that are rarer and harder to get and that have a numerical value. Now, some areas are unique. There is a single tile representing that area and the value is written right there. You take it, you place it, or you take it, you put in your supply, maybe you later place it on your board. Good for you. There's a number of points that you score. Then you have areas that score points. The green areas do not. As you can see, they do not have any point value indicated on them. But then you have these other areas, these stacks here, that have point values on them, and you stack them in decreased numerical value. So players during the game will take from the top of the stack so that the highest value tokens will go first. Now, the way it works is this, extremely simple. Each player will start with a green token, depending, and the type that they get depends on where they end the turn. The first player will get a small one. Players playing later, like second and third, will get this one. Fourth player will get the largest one, and so on and so forth. And suppose we start like this. I am the fourth player. Each player also starts with a tile such as this one. We have several ones, and they are double-sided, and so a lot of variety there when it comes to the setup. So you place your starting tile in front of you, and then there are two decks of randomly shuffled expansion tiles that you can use to expand your park after a while. During your turn, the general idea is that first you will place a tile from your supply. You always start with one. You will place a tile. Things will happen based on the icons that you cover when you place your tile, and in particular you will collect other tiles. And then, well, that's pretty much the basic idea. Now, and you also covering certain icons. When you cover that icon, you'll get to take another tile from one of these two stacks from the top, and you will place it adjacent to your tile. It can be orthogonally adjacent to any of the previous tiles, but not in a way that goes below your starting area, the entrance of your park. Otherwise, then the visitors will be confused. The first player to completely cover 4 tiles will trigger the beginning of the game, the end of the game. The beginning of the game is triggered when people start playing. What am I talking about? The first player to fully cover 4 tiles with their park tiles will trigger the end of the game. Then you score victory points. That is simply the number of points that will be visible. It's an incredibly easy game to read. There is no special scoring at the end of the game. You simply total all the numbers that you see on your park, and the player with the highest total wins the game. Now, as we said, you're gonna play your tiles covering areas. Of course, you know what, per placement, it just don't make it look weird. If it hangs out, it's weird. If it is across, it's weird. Follow the grid. And one non-immediately obvious thing is that you should never cover that pit there. So you will place tiles there covering different areas. and you do not cover the pit. And again, every time that you cover an icon, you take something or something happens. When you cover that icon, you take an expansion tile. When you cover that icon, you get a green tile. Remember these small ones that do not have any point values, but you still need them to complete stuff. When you cover this icon here, you take a tile from this section or lower. When you cover one of these icons here, you take a tile from this section here, which is the one that gives you the most points, or lower. Now, there are no tiles of this kind on your initial tile, so that means that you need to first cover one of these icons, get one of these, then you cover it to get the big scoring ones. Also remember, your park will be 4 tiles large. The initial one doesn't have it, so that means that in the game you will only collect 3 tiles of this kind here. They're very large, they're worth a lot, and again, they're a very limited resource. So remember, you cannot cover this pit here. However, after your tile, your section of the park represented by one of these tiles is completely full, with the exception of this one, then you get to take a tile from this row here, this bear statues, and you take the one with the highest value. So I'm the first player, I get a 16, and you place it there. So now, yes, your park is full. This is the general idea. Place a tile, collect more tiles, and possibly expand your park. When a section of your park is completely full, with the exception of the pit, you take the highest value available bear. Continue like this until the end of the game. Then you score all the points that are visible because of the tiles and because of the bears. The player with the highest total wins the game. This game has been a big hit with pretty much anybody I played it to win. And you know, when you have a game and you think, oh, anybody could enjoy this, I think everybody would enjoy this. Actually, I have evidence. First time I played a game night with my hardcore gaming friends, it was on one side of the table, and basically it got played all night. As one group finished playing it, and some people in the group wanted to play it again, other people moved from another game, and there was a constant rotation of people that wanted to play. So there's enough here to keep hardcore committed gamers interested. Then the following day I had an event with some friends that do not play games. To them, the only games that they have heard of are soccer, if that counts as a game, and Monopoly and Clue. So, you know, I had to do something about that. And I brought some games to a social event, and one of the games that I brought there was Barenpark, and they loved it. Again, people that never played any modern games before and never heard of Ticket to Ride or Pandemic or Carcassonne or any of the other gateway games that we use to trick people, lure people into our beautiful hobby. These people that never played any hobby games before, they could get it, they could figure out the rules very easily, and then the strategy, and they became so passionate about it, they run to the friendly local game store the day after this to buy it. And it was the first time they went to a friendly local game store too. So there's almost like a missionary element here. Then I played with my daughters, and guess what? The daughters also loved it. 7 and 9, they enjoyed it. Play with my spouse. She's not into games as much as she used to. She's very finicky. She's very hard to please. And I got endorsement from her too. It's not an hypothesis anybody might enjoy this game. Everybody I played this game with enjoyed it, and I played it with a different range of people. Because gameplay is so simple, it's so intuitive, and yet it has all of these nice little wrinkles to it, and all the decisions that you have to make matter. Almost sometimes there's a sense of tension, because you do get a sense that if you make 1 or 2 catastrophic mistakes, then you fall behind the curve and you will never be able to catch up. Then you're crossing fingers that people make those mistakes too. And yet, for some reason, although that is probably how the design objectively works, I didn't feel that people felt too much pressure, too much tension because of that. Some games, people can become a little paranoid when you realize that the system is airtight and you cannot count on luck to help you later. People took all those great tiles, you messed up your setup, there's not much that you can do. But in which case, the game is still not too long, and if you fall behind, you're not gonna suffer too much. I didn't feel that the game had a runaway leader problem. Actually, something that I enjoyed is that although technically you can constantly count everybody's points on their board because everybody has their points out there. There's no special final scoring, no secret scoring. People don't do that, and actually I was still pleasantly surprised at the end of figuring out, oh, let's see who wins. But just having these interesting problems of which icons I want to cover, and they will give me which tiles, and how do I use those, and how do I prioritize so that I get some interesting tiles that are there with good values. And if I can, in the process, also take away tiles that really looks like you want to have. It's very simple. It's incredibly simple. Pick a tile, put it down, get more tiles, and repeat. And yet, there are very interesting elements that emerge, especially because of the parallel competition that you have for limited resources. Everything is in decreasing quantities, and everything in the game is in decreasing values. Because the 16 statue, then it goes down to 15, 14, etc., etc. 7, 6, 5, etc., etc., etc. The beautiful, great, unique piece, yeah, unique is the trick word here because only one player can have it. And so you have your best laid plans of gamers and collectors of bears or owners of bear parks. Your best laid plans are not going to work and you constantly have to readjust. So, such a simple game, but so many reasons to be interested, such captivating gameplay with a competitive element, but since we're never attacking each other, we're just grabbing stuff before the people do. Didn't feel that they had to take that element that caused, bad blood or resentment. Barenpark, enjoyable, incredibly captivating. This is definitely going to be one of my gateway games, not because I think it might work that way, because I've seen it work. I've seen everybody who played it really becoming captivated by it. I definitely enjoyed. I think it's a remarkable game.